This video has been sponsored by Affler and Retainful.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the One Shopify Podcast. I'm your host Aashika, and today we're diving into a topic that every brand cares about, turning that very first customer into a forever relationship. And joining me is Casey, VP of Sales at Endear. Casey and his team are on a mission to fix broken clienteling and help retail brands turn data into deeper customer connections. Casey, welcome to the pod.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, me too. So, Casey, let's start right at the beginning of the journey. When a shopper makes that very first purchase, what do most brands get wrong in terms of nurturing them?
Yeah, I think that the thing that I see brands get wrong most is that they go from this experience that this shopper has had in a store or even, sometimes with your e-commerce website where it feels like a really sort of tailored high-end experience, especially with a lot of the brands we work with that are doing clienteling. They're really, really putting a lot of effort into their brand image and the way that like a customer would view their brand, their first impression. And then they go a step further, they put a lot of effort into their team and that interaction that the customer has with their brand if they shop at the store. And then the follow-up email to nurture them is like the same email that gets sent to thousands and thousands of people that they've seen thousands of times from other brands that they shop with. Like nobody is putting any effort into that post-purchase nurture process. And I think even more if you've shopped with a store or like an actual human at your brand, usually that happens at the store. Why wouldn't that person that you shopped with be the one who's sending you the thank you, be the one who's following up with you? Why would it be just like this general thanks for shopping with us at our brand? You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
that's,
yes.
I think, they go from hyper personalized at the purchase point to the most mass form of marketing, like in an instant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, I get it. And can you share an example where a small client shift at this stage made a big difference in retention?
Yeah, I mean it's the number one. We call them customer journeys at Endear because I think what brands tend to get wrong with clienteling is they sort of approach it in this way where they end up doing what I'll call like random acts of clienteling. They're sort of just like randomly messaging customers when maybe there's a sale or there's no like process to it. And so we try to put it in what we call a customer journey. And the most popular one, and by far the most successful one we get set up with customers, is still our post purchase journey. So just by having that post purchase email come from the associate that I shopped with. So, like if you shopped at my store with me and you worked with me, Ashika should get a message from Casey and from the store that she shopped at, right? The maybe London store, the New York City store that she actually went into and shopped at. When you can deliver that kind of personal service and that personal follow up, where we're not actually even asking for a purchase at all. We're really just asking for a conversation, maybe. Are you enjoying what you bought? Is it still working out for you? If you're not, do you want to come back in and return it? We'll get you something new. We're trying to make sure that customer's just happy with that purchase that they just made. If you can just put that into your post purchase flow, and with tools like Endear, you can automate honestly like 100% of what I just said. Not every brand will automate it, but a lot of brands I work with, you can automate that whole piece of the process because what's important about the message, it's not that I remembered like your dog's name or, your husband's name. It's that it came from me at the store and you can respond to it. So like a really simple message like, hey Ashika, it's Casey, from the Endear store in New York City. Like just want to say thanks for shopping with me today. If you have any issues, here's where you can reach me.
Mhm.
That same message could be sent to every person that shops with me.
That would make an impact. Yeah, and when talking about data-driven clienteling, what does that look like in practice, and how do you keep it from feeling too transactional?
Yeah, I mean, I think that in practice, it like step one is requiring that you have clean data, right? So you can only data, bad data in equals bad experiences out when it comes to trying to drive your clienteling with data. So, like, in order to automate that whole experience that I just described, I need to know and have accurate information as to where Ashika shopped, who she shopped with, the day she shopped, what she bought when she shopped. Now, if you're using something like Shopify, all of that is so easy. They're just doing all of that for you already. You maybe need to make sure that Ashika isn't like letting, or Casey rather, if I'm the associate in that story, isn't letting like somebody else ring you up because I need to know that Casey's the one who worked with Ashika. But outside of that, Shopify's tracking all of that for you. What we're doing with Endear then is we're just grabbing all of that data and making it useful because we then like let you trigger these different things off of that data rather than just exporting that data and sending it to your team in a spreadsheet where then like who knows what happens. Um, and to your question about how you keep it from feeling too transactional, I would, I'd almost go as far to argue you make it feel transactional, right? Where if you really doctor your messages up with all sorts of flowery language, it's going to feel like what it is, which is marketing, sales, whatever you're trying to push with that customer. If you genuinely just say thank you for shopping with me, like just a very transactional, hey, thanks for shopping with me. It was great to meet you. That's the best kind of message that in a weird way works best because it doesn't feel like you're trying to push something else onto me. You're not like being overbearing. You're really just like, thanks for shopping with me. And then 2 weeks later, maybe you hit me with a message that says like, hey, have you had a chance to wear that yet? How's it fitting? Do you still love it? If you don't love it, let's exchange it. Let's get you into something that you do love because we have a 30-day return window. You really, when you're clienteling, you're acting as like that guide for your customer on like how to best navigate being a customer of your brand.
Yes, that would be very interesting if lots of brands did that.
Yeah, exactly. Not enough do, but we're on a mission.
Yeah. Uh, Congrats. All the best. And yeah, I could see that Endu works with brands like AG Jeans and so on. What's one playbook you have seen consistently work across those brands to move customers from one time to repeat?
Yeah, I mean there's really like a three-step playbook that I try to follow. And if you go to our website, you can download this for free right now. We call it our ultimate guide to retail clienteling. And I think I call it like the basics. It's like the foundation that you need to put in place. One of those is the post-purchase journey that we've already talked about here. The others that I really focus on with people are if you have a really big online audience,
Mhm.
can we engage with that online audience in a personal way? And so, like, it might mean breaking that online audience down into who are our VIPs and our highest spenders versus who are our, people who shop the most number of times with us and approaching them in different ways. If you have physical stores, I'm not sure the listeners of your podcast, if they're like physical store owners or just online store owners. If you have physical stores, the way I like to use most of the brands we work with at Endear do have physical stores. And the way I like to use that audience is like online, but lives near your store. So we can actually capture like every customer that lives near the location of your store, but's never actually been into your store. So like these people might not even know you have a store right there in your neighborhood. It maybe you're opening new stores, and that can be really powerful for you. And then the third one is like really simply a VIP's approach, but a VIP's approach with scale. And the way you do that is just like with really clear definitions. I just did a webinar about this not too long ago that a recording might be out there somewhere of, but it's also in this playbook that I'm describing where you need to define VIPs, because if you don't define VIPs, then like we are just, we're not really taking on a VIP goal without a definition for it. That's the easiest way to explain it. Because then you just end up like calling everyone a VIP, or like you end up only talking to people that are at their highest possible spend with you as a customer. Like a VIP approach should actually be going for people that don't really talk to us that often and shop and spend a lot when they do, but they probably could shop a little bit more. Or people that shop a lot, but they might be able to spend a little bit more. You have to go after it with a goal in mind.
Mhm, mhm. Got it. And talking about VIPs, every brand has a small group of high value customers that drive that oversized revenue. And how can brands identify and engage those people without, alienating the rest?
Yeah, it's about scale. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
about like finding, I think it's about giving people the opportunity to opt into being a VIP.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean when I say that is like all of the post purchase flow. If you think about that three-step engagement that I sort of just talked about, the post purchase flow is something that can go out to every single customer. Like because you can scale that and you can set that up to be automated and completely automated, every customer that shops with you can get that. And after that point, it's like you're giving them the opportunity to opt themselves into being and getting that VIP experience. If they respond to that message, they buy something else. And like now they're working their way up the ranks. I don't really believe in like loyalty systems that are public facing, but I do think you need to have this internal facing sort of tiered system of how you're treating all of your clients, because then you're not alienating anybody. Nobody really needs to know if they're not getting what this certain person is getting, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And what's your favorite advice, or what's your advice on Shopify brands that don't have big budgets but still want to make their top customers feel like VIPs? Because we could see that lots of people don't have a very big budget for all those kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that if you, you need to, so take your VIP list, right? Define VIPs however you're going to define it. I recommend defining VIPs by like total or highest, like average order value. So
Okay.
not total spend, but when this person shops, how much on average do they spend with us? And try to find the people that have your highest average order value. Because then I think there's a separate group you create that's like your people who maybe aren't the highest spend, but they shop the most often. So they come back the most often and buy, but they don't, their cart value isn't really huge when they're doing that. And then what you want to do is you want to take these two groups and you want to find the people who have the highest average order value, but the lowest number of orders.
Mhm.
And let's just really focus on those people and see if we can get them to shop again or shop more often.
Mhm.
Because if you, that like lets you limit the number of people you have to focus on, and it lets you do this in like a cheaper way in effect, because then all of these people up here that yes they spend a lot with us, and yes they're VIPs, and yes we want to treat them like gold, but from what their shopping behavior is telling us right now, like they're shopping as much as they can. So like we shouldn't spend money and resources trying to get these people to shop more when like they're already shopping their max amount. They're our biggest customers for a reason. We don't want to actually focus on a VIP that if we do all these things for them, they'll come back next month. And if we don't do all these things with them, they'll come back next month, right? We want to find the VIP that when we do all these things, they're going to come back next month because of the activities we're taking. Does that make sense? Like focusing on that, like segmenting that down.
So, you're telling that we have to divide the VIPs into two sections, if I'm not wrong. One with a large amount of purchase amount, and the other based on the number of times they purchased.
Exactly. One based on like how much they spend when they do purchase,
Mm-hmm.
one based on how many total purchases.
Okay.
And
And
then you attack the two in opposite ways, basically. The
Mhm.
people with all of the highest spend, you take the lowest purchasers and try to get them to buy more,
Mhm.
like buy more often. And then the people with the highest number of orders, you take the lowest average spend and you try to figure out how we can get them to spend more because they shop all the time. So if we can get them to spend more, that'll have a big effect.
Agreed. Okay. So one of the challenges you have pointed out is the tech stacks. I mean, most of them would point these out, which is e-commerce, POS, ERP systems, that many people don't talk with each other. So why does fixing that matter so much for the customer journey?
Yeah, it's back to like bad data in equals bad experience out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where like I think I personally do this as a customer of brands because I think because of the line of work I'm in, I am like trying to give brands as much data as I can. Like when I shop with you, I will fill out every form you put in front of me. I will subscribe to everything because what I want to see is like if I give your system everything about me that I possibly will your system actually react and personalize things to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason people don't want to give up their data is because even when I do that, like I never really get that personalized of marketing. Like I know you shop with brands, you're a consumer, like you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you get just the same standard marketing that they send to everybody else, and it's like crazy to me that nobody's doing anything different.
I think
And maybe it's because all their systems. Go
personalization
ahead.
only happens with a name. So only the name changes and all
Yeah.
is the same for everybody.
Yeah, it must have been the biggest invention of all time. The first guy who invented that little name pop-in field, and he was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then we were all falling for it. But now, like we all know that that's possible. So it's like you got to step it up. What else can you do now? And I think like AI is going to be huge for that with helping with the personalization. But again, what every brand needs to realize is that the the AI that you end up plugging into your systems to help you personalize things and do everything better and faster is only like that AI has to learn about your brand and about your customers from some source of data. And so if your data source isn't cleaned up, if you're not, again, like I know this is called the Shopify, I'm a Shopify super fan. We work with a lot of different vendors. So like we don't just work with Shopify brands, but what's the best thing about being on Shopify in my mind is if because you're feeding everything into that one central source, like when the AI functions and the AI capabilities come around that like can really take advantage of that, you're going to be in the best position possible because you have that one central source of data. Because you're going to need something that you can plug the AI tool into for it to read and learn and know how to write that message.
Mm-hmm.
If it only knows about your online transactions, but it has no idea what you've bought in store with me, or it has no idea what you've said to my store associate over a text message, then like that AI is really it's gonna give me bad information about you. It doesn't know half the story of you.
Yes. And say for a Shopify merchant listening right now, what's the one practical step that they can take to move toward a unified view for their customer?
You said, I'm sorry, a safe order Shopify merchant?
Yeah, Shopify merchant. So who is listening to the pod right now? If they're taking their first step, how could they move to a unified view with their customer?
Um, if they're using Shopify, I think I would say they've taken their first step,
Mhm.
right? I think I have this philosophy with the CRM that we use where like the rule with any tool that we want to use is it has to be able to integrate with our CRM, right? We've very intentionally picked a CRM. We use HubSpot for our CRM. It's like more built for, what we do versus I think Endear, what Endear does is built for retail. Endear's like to retail what HubSpot is to business sales. Um, so with HubSpot, the reason we've picked HubSpot is because HubSpot is like a player in the space where they have this app marketplace where anybody can build an app that works there. Anybody can build an integration that works with a HubSpot account. The
Mhm.
same is true about Shopify. So like if you've already picked Shopify to be your commerce engine, you've accomplished step one. Now you just need to like stay true to that decision by not letting yourself work with like any tools that don't plug into Shopify. It's just too easy for these tools to plug into Shopify. They can go build the integration. If they're telling you they can't, they're lying. It is really, really easy to integrate with Shopify. Stick true to your thing and make that be a non-starter with like because as you start to build your brand, you're going to be like, all right, well, what maybe email marketing platform can I use? As
Mhm.
long as it's integrated with Shopify, you're checking that box that you have the one central view of your customer. You will always be able to have that view.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. So, as a VP of sales, you lead teams but also work closely with customer success. How do you balance scaling with with maintaining that very human touch in client?
Yeah, I think it's definitely tricky. I think I call it signal searching.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way that I mentioned post purchase being a really, really good
Mm-hmm.
customer journey that you can set up because you can automate the whole thing. The reason that you can automate that journey is because there's a clear signal that you can use to set the whole thing off, which is purchase made. It's like purchase gets made, boom, signal that I set off this whole journey that I know I can automate because of all the data I have.
Mm-hmm.
Like to keep scaling that out bigger and bigger, it's all about just thinking through like what are other signals and
Mm-hmm.
then maybe even trying to build signals. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, if today the only signal you have is post purchase, if you're a beauty brand, maybe you want to create you know, uh, I shouldn't have picked beauty brand because I clearly am not a beauty brand aficionado myself. But like, you want to find find your shade that's best for you, that kind of thing. And so, like, you might create a quiz or something that your customer can fill out on your website. That's another signal you've just made. Every time they fill out that quiz, now we can create a whole journey of messages that can go to that customer because they filled out that quiz. So it's just about like finding those signals and then building more signals into your process. Like I recommend a lot of brands do appointments,
Mm-hmm.
not because I think appointments drives revenue. It's just like at the consumer level, you'd have to do so many appointments to really like drive revenue for your business. But because appointments become another signal, it's
Mm-hmm.
another form that a customer can fill out to indicate to you that like they're super interested. They're all the way over here in their purchase journey.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's really smart, the thing you said.
Thank
And
you.
uh, say if a brand wants to become future proof, their retention strategy today, what should they be prioritizing for the next 3 to 5 years?
Um, who they hire. Because at the end of the day, a lot of what I'm talking about is um, it takes some human effort. I don't think it takes a ton of humans because of the tools that exist now.
Mhm.
But to some extent, what I'm talking about doing to build this retained customer and build up this retention base, it really comes down to like connecting and giving your customers an avenue to connect with a real human that works at your brand.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
that strategy only works if you have great humans working at your brand. It should be something you want to do anyway, right? Like if you're building a company, if you're building a brand, you should want to build a place with like just great humans that care about your customer and want to do everything to make their day. But that is like step number one, build that team, because then that team will take any tool and process that you want to use and run with it and actually let you know if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Um,
Sound easy, but hiring proper people is like a big tough job to do.
it's my least favorite part of my job. It's so because it's the hardest part of my job. I don't, yeah, it is so difficult to do. And then yeah. Yeah, but the good thing is if you can hire good people, you can keep good people around, right? You just need to be a great place to work. But yeah, if you can find the right ones, it's easier to keep them around.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we have
What's
come.
the expression? Hire slowly, hire slow, fire fast. I think that's the expression.
Okay.
Take your time hiring, but if you think it's not a good fit, it's probably not a good fit, and trust your gut.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, we have come to the end of the pod. So before ending the pod, we'll just have a quick fire round to wrap up things. So are you ready?
Okay, I think so. I hope so.
Okay. So the most underrated clienteling tactic that you would say.
Ask a question. If you put a question in your message,
Mm-hmm.
it prompts the person to respond. And that's what makes clienteling different from marketing, is I can respond to it and then you're going to get back to me.
Okay. So SMS, email, or in-store, where's the most untapped opportunities present?
Okay. This is a really, really hard one because I have good answers for all three, I think. Can I give an answer for all three?
Sure.
I'm gonna give an answer for both, or for I'm gonna group SMS and email together, and then I give an answer for in-store. In-store, we like there's so much ways that we could be better at capturing customer data who shop at our store, even if they don't talk to an associate. Like we can have different engagements around our store and different like reasons for somebody to give me their email address just to identify that they were there that day. Because again, that's a signal. Now I can use that signal. So I just need like, we need to be tracking store visitors better and like incentivizing customers to tell us that they visited our store for some reason. And then email and SMS, I think like, I hope we're moving towards a world where people don't use email and SMS for marketing anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think like marketing beat everybody else to the email and SMS channel, but like email and SMS are meant for conversations. It's meant for to be a place where people can like message you and then you can message them back and then you can talk back and forth. And like marketing in those channels are just billboards. You literally can't reply to them. If you reply, it says no reply. You know what I mean? So like it's very silly to me.
Okay. So, yes, Casey, so this was packed with lots of insightful information. And yeah, thank you for breaking down the how brands can go from the first purchase to forever customer. So, thanks for coming to the pod.
Yeah, I was so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And also, please share me the link. I'll post it in the description of the case study you were telling in your website.
Yeah, the ultimate retail clienteling guide. I'll try to remember to send you that link and you can post it.
Yeah, sure, sure. And to everyone listening, if you're still, juggling systems or wondering how to really engage your customers, this episode will definitely be your playbook. And don't forget to subscribe, drop a rating, and share this episode with a Shopify founder who wants to boost retention. So, see you next time in the One Shopify podcast. So, bye everybody. Until then, this is Ashika.